I invite you to be seated, and we welcome Cheryl Bergie, who's giving our reflection this morning.
Good morning, everyone. One thing that I just have to say before I get started is when you have to do the reflection, how quickly it comes. I thought at 8 o'clock, I'm like, it's because we don't sing. Like, I was right there. Well, I thought there was lots of time at 10 o'clock. It came before I knew it. So here I am again, and it's not as easy as it looks, so please bear with me. So Martha came to me, the stewardship committee had asked if I could do the stewardship reflection. This was a bit challenging for me because I often think to myself or feel guilty, I don't give enough, I don't do enough, and then I thought, why would they ask me to do the reflection on stewardship? There's so much more I should be doing, there's so much more I should be giving, why me? Apparently it was a unanimous decision, so I'm like, there must be something more to this, there must be a reason. So I thought, maybe this is a great time for me to reflect on what I could be doing more. But what do I have to tell all of the congregation of St. George's? So I thought to myself, maybe I need to share my story. Maybe everyone needs to understand that this is a process, that you don't make one decision one year, and then that's all you're ever gonna do, much like life. So I'm going to just share a little bit of stories with you about my life, and then at the end, you can see how I'll bring it all together in times that I can appreciate both of the people in the gospel today. I understand the Pharisee because I've been in that position. I've given all that I think I can give, but still say, I know I can't give enough for all that I have. I can never repay you for everything that I have. And there have been times that I was like, well, I do a lot around here, and as Jim Stredwick kindly mentioned this morning, everyone at St. George's loves you. I love you too, by the way. So that makes me feel really comfortable to be up here because I do feel like I'm surrounded by love, and I thank you all for that. But so I'm going to go a little bit through my story. I was born to teenage parents. My mom was 17 when I was born, and I already had an older sister. She suffered with severe cerebral palsy, couldn't walk, couldn't talk, had to be fed through a feeding tube. So for her entire life, it was kind of like caring for a baby because she had those high needs. And then, so I was born, my mom was 17. 2 years later, my sister Tanya, who now teaches the Sunday school and leads our youth worship here, was born. Now my mom is single, so I have a single teenage mom with 3 kids, one with very high developmental needs, and a father who's not really in the picture. He's suffering with some drugs and alcohol issues. So this doesn't make for a super easy time, but we have a lot of love in our life. And I love my sister, both me and my sister Tanya, we love Missy so much, and we cherish all of the time that we have with her. But sometimes, if I'm honest with myself and if I'm honest with you, I think, well, maybe I'll give this example. Sometimes we would go for a walk down the street, and I was already bullied in school. I was not popular, I didn't have friends, and I got bullied daily. And then some of the neighborhood bullies would bully me when I was with my sister. It gave them a target, a reason to bully me. And sometimes I would say, why did you give me a sister who would give me another reason to be bullied? Can you believe that I would think that? Like, this poor person is dealt one of the crummiest hands that she could be dealt, and yet I'm feeling sorry for myself. How is this affecting me? If I knew then what I know now. So this is where it comes into, it's all a process, right? So I have a lot of guilt for feeling that, but I obviously have to get past that and move on. So then, as time progresses in my life, Melissa dies when she's 13 years old. We buried her on Christmas Eve that year. It was a really, really hard year. And that was one of the times where I thought again, if I knew then what I know now, what I could have done for her, what more I could have done and appreciated the time that we had. So 3 months passes by. Well, I get hit by a car. This is right before helmets come into play, because as John Belford told me, I was one of the case studies that helped make kids have to wear helmets in Ontario now, so you're welcome. So I was hit by a car, and I was having a seizure at the scene. I was airlifted to Hamilton. They told my mom and my sister, she's gonna die or be a vegetable. So then my sister Tanya, my heart goes out to her, because she's thinking, I had 2 sisters, and now in 3 months I'm gonna have none. I come out of that, and 3 days later, I'm out of the coma that they induce, and I know who everybody is. It's a miracle. Even the doctors say this is a miracle. But do I think about maybe how hard this was on my sister and my family, that they had to think that they were losing 2 kids in the same family in 3 months? No, I probably focused a little bit more on, wow, I'm getting all of this attention, and I don't remember all of that stuff from being hit by a car, but they can remember it. All I know is I have 3 broken bones in my leg. Well, big deal. So as I get older, I look back and I think about these times, and I think, why did that happen to me? Well, now I can tell you, my sister's been gone for a long time, but she's my hero. So when she was here in her short time, she made so many people happy. Even when she was in the hospital, they always kept her on the old folks floor, and the nurses would take her around every day to the different rooms, and she would bring so much joy to all the people that were suffering, and she was suffering herself. When we had her funeral, the church was packed, and I thought, somebody who couldn't even talk the way that we can talk has brought so much joy to so many people's lives. And I thought, I need to be more like my sister. She never complained. She's my hero. Every time I go through something bad now, I really try, not to say that I'm not guilty of thinking, oh, poor me ever, but I really try and turn it around and think, how would my sister have handled this? How would she see it differently? So now I know that my sister was one of my greatest blessings, that I had that I learned from that. One of those young boys that used to really bully me a lot, he said some really mean things. I came to find out later in his adult life, ended up committing suicide. So yeah, being bullied was a hard thing, but maybe if I would have seen it differently, maybe if I would have seen that bully was crying out for help, I could have done more. Maybe after I was hit by a car, instead of thinking, well, now I'm getting all this attention and I'm getting all of these gifts, and I could have thought about my sister who had almost lost 2 sisters in 3 months. If I would have given her more time, maybe that could have helped her through her thing. We really have to put ourselves that it's bigger than us. It's bigger than just what we are right here, right now. There's a much bigger picture. And when we look outside of that, it's amazing the things that we can do. With our Joyful Giving campaign, obviously I encourage you all to prayerfully consider the things that you can do more. And it's not just, when I first started coming to church, I thought, well, what can I have to replace kind of what I need from this place. But it's so much bigger than that. It's not just what I need from St. George's, and believe me, that's a lot. I need a lot from this place, I need a lot from all of you and our clergy, but it's also everything that we do in the outreach. The things that we see and the things that we don't see that this church is doing. It's about our money and the treasures that we can give, but it's also about our time and our talent. I mean, when you're involved here, it really, you just get so much more connected, and you end up getting more out of it than you put into it. And I'm sure a lot of you know this because a lot of you are much better givers and doers than I am, so you understand exactly what I'm saying. But with this, I just hope that from this reflection you understand that it's bigger than what we are right here, right now, in this moment, and what we need. It's collectively. Like, I'm so thankful for this place, and I'm thankful for all of you for what you give and what you do, because we don't have this place because of what I give and do. It's what we collectively do as one together that St. George's will be here. And Rach, my 14-year-old daughter, came to me a couple months ago and said, even though they don't get to come to church with me every week because they're with their dad on the weekends, she said, Mom, when I grow up, me and my kids are always going to go to church. I think that that's really important. We want to go to St. George's. And if my husband doesn't want to come, because I don't know if he's going to be a churchgoer, that's okay. But I'm always going to come, and I'm going to bring my kids because I think that's really important. So that really made me feel great, knowing that I'm setting that example for her. But then I thought, I have to make sure that this place is still here for her. So what can I do more? So I guess that comes back to me a little bit, but it's not just what can I do for my own child to make sure it's here, what can I do for all the generations of all the families in this place. So I just ask that when your route managers come around with your package, take time, think about it, and think about your stories too, because everything all kind of comes back, and think about the stories in your life that could affect how you could think about things a little bit differently. Thank you.